Hi again, everybody. My name is Greg Anderson, and this is the Good Timekeeping Show with Greg Anderson. And today I want to talk about buying a watch or watch accessories from overseas international transactions I'm talking about here. And I know some people are a little bit nervous about that. Should I be nervous about an international transaction? And because, what if something goes wrong? How hard is it to clear that up when you're dealing with someone in another country? What if things just don't work out the way you expect? And so I thought I'd talk about that because I think I had the same concerns 3 or 4 years ago when I started doing that. And since things have worked out okay, I don't really think about it that much. But I understand if you've never done the international transactions before and you might have a few questions, you might be concerned about it. All I can tell you is my own personal experience, and I'll try to outline some of the variables that maybe made it work better than it could have otherwise. And I'll just kind of let you know, because the first time I decided I wanted to do an international transaction, I think it was probably an eBay seller that happened to be in Japan. And I just kind of had this notion that, well, I think the Japanese people are generally honorable folks. I think that this will go okay. If something goes wrong, maybe eBay itself has a mechanism in place to kind of help me fix it. But I don't know. And one of the things that really got to me is, do I really want to do this or not? Was there were a couple of unknowns. And basically, I'm gonna pull out a listing here from an eBay purchase that I recently did, okay? And everything looks fine. They tell you about the payment and the shipping and all that. But then down here, it says international buyers. And this is the part that just was unclear. It says import duties, taxes, and charges are not included in the item price or shipping charges. These charges are the buyer's responsibility. It also says, please check with your country's customs office to determine what these additional costs will be prior to your buying or bidding on an item. And then it says these charges are normally collected by the delivering company or the freight company or the shipping company, or when you pick them up, and do not confuse them for additional shipping charges. So that's like a big giant, well, nobody knows what this is going to be. How do I find out what this is going to be? Shall I just, call, what's the normal customs office? I don't even live near a place where these international shipments normally come in. How do I know? So I saw that and I thought, well, I think I was buying something for maybe about $150 and it was coming from Japan. And I thought, well, if there is some sort of additional fee to get through customs, some duty, something that they're going to tack on to whatever I paid for the item, maybe I'll just go ahead and do it and find out what that is. And so I did. I made the order and I just waited. And I don't know, it was probably a week or two before it arrived. And I thought, at some point in the process, am I going to get a bill that says, oh, you owe this additional amount for some sort of import tax? And I waited and nothing happened. And the watch came and it was exactly what I wanted and it cost exactly what they said. And there was no additional fee or import tax or anything like that added to the transaction. So I went ahead and did that again and again and again. And I've done it probably a couple dozen times at least, buying watches and sometimes accessories that I just couldn't find in the United States, or at least I couldn't find them at such a good price. So this is a watch I bought just earlier this year in 2023. This is a Rangeman GW 9400, and this is the one that has the black and yellow highlights, and then the watch band itself is a carbon fiber thing with a black and yellow, it's yellow on the inside, two-tone watch band. So I could have gotten this with the regular all-black watch band, and that was available from the US market. But if I paid a little bit more, I could get this one with the special Japanese two-tone black and yellow watch band, and I decided I wanted to do that. So that's one that I did recently that I couldn't get it quite as easily in the United States. Now this one, since I bought it, in fact, just, I don't know, within a couple of months after I bought it, the listing on Amazon was a much better price than what I paid for this. And you can get this exact watch with the Japanese watch band on Amazon right now for less than, I think it's less than $350. So if you want to do that, That's another thing that you can do sometimes. You buy it through Amazon. It might be an international purchase, but the buyer, the entire transaction is happening through Amazon. So you might feel comfortable with that, knowing that if something goes wrong, Amazon seems to have a pretty good mechanism to help you out to make it right. eBay is supposed to do that too, but sometimes eBay feels like I'm dealing with one individual there in this other country, and eBay is not really going to do much, or I don't know. Maybe they will. Maybe they will. It just doesn't feel like it as much as when it's an Amazon purchase. Then it feels like, oh, Amazon's got my back on this. And it's up to you to decide if that's the right way to think about it. See, I had a friend that I worked with when I was in high school, and we were at a movie theater together. His name's Ward Wallach, and if you've gone to school, you know much about going to school in the Long Beach, California area. There's actually a scholarship now named after Ward Wallach. But at the time when I knew Ward, I don't think he'd been to Japan yet. He loved Japan. He loved everything about it. He was learning Japanese. I really wanted to go to Japan, and that's when I knew him. And then he finally went to Japan. But one thing that really appealed to Ward about Japan was the very low crime rate. So that was kind of stuck in my head since I was a teenager, that, oh, the people in Japan are honorable, there's a very low crime there. And so I was confident enough to say, I think I'm going to find some good transactions through these folks in Japan, because they're just good people. So, you know, and then now you're watching movies with the Japanese crime lord who whatever. But anyway, the point is, eBay will help you out with your seller rating. So I want to buy from someone, and maybe it's this watch here, a nice Oceanus watch. This one, unfortunately, a little bit harder to find these days, the one with the green face. But just the other day, I decided there's one with a white face, and I wanted to get that. And I thought, okay, there's several listings on eBay, and they're all about the same price, give or take, $10. And then a few more are, higher than that. But out of these ones that are kind of the low end of the price range, do I trust them? So then you can look at the eBay rating, and it'll say, well, this seller has a 100% positive rating from the 5 sales they've done. But this one over here has a 99.7% positive rating out of the 2,000 sales that they've done. And so when you've got one that's 100% and one that's, oh, it's only 99.7%, what kind of a crook is that? Well, no, it's just sometimes things go wrong. So out of 2,000 transactions, he's still got a 99.7% rating. And I'm thinking, well, these are the things you can evaluate with your eBay experience. I think the 99.7 positive rating out of 2,000 transactions tells me more about this than someone who's only had 5 transactions, And plus, the price difference was probably like $1 between the two. I think I'll pay $1 more and go with the guy that has 2,000 mostly positive ratings, and so that's something you can evaluate. Also, for the difference of $1 or $2, some people had, the estimated shipping was 2 to 4 weeks, and another guy, maybe you pay $1 more, but his estimated shipping was like 1 week. Okay, so those are the things you can evaluate. And again, look at the seller ratings, and so far I've had a good experience. And as I've been buying more watches from the Japanese market, I have noticed that I still have not received any additional fee beyond the transaction. Whatever the price of the item plus shipping plus you pay sales tax, I do in the United States because it's through eBay, and eBay collects the sales tax. So apart from those things, when I put my credit card in there and it says your credit card will be charged this amount, that's been always exactly correct. And I have not received any additional import fees, duty fees, taxes, anything like that. Now, as I say that, here I am in the United States, in Utah, purchasing from Japan in these kinds of transactions. If you're in a different place, maybe it's going to be different where you are, but I can only tell you what I've done and what's happened to me, which is no additional fees. The other thing that might be a factor is that I've never paid $500 or more for a watch that I've purchased this way. So maybe once you get above $500, you get into some of these much more expensive watches. Maybe there's a threshold at which additional import taxes kick in, but I haven't seen it yet. And here's a watch that I just got today. I ordered it 5 days ago. So sometimes those shipments from Japan come really quickly and they get through customs really quickly. Sometimes it takes a few days longer than that. But this one, again, I looked at the listing. They said it would be a fast delivery, and it was. This one I've intercepted on its way to the North Pole, if you know what I mean. But I can tell you about this one. I'll just do a quick sneak peek. And maybe you get up on Christmas morning, and maybe a couple days after that, you can look for my official review of this guy. But here it is. This is the white-faced version of this Oceanus watch that I already have. So I looked at that, and I had, again, a really good international transaction experience that just barely happened when that arrived today. So that's why I thought I should talk to you about it. So again, I've ordered all these watches from Japan, no problems, no additional fees, all of them less than $500, and that's been my experience there. Going with what seemed to be reputable eBay sellers, and that was fine. I have also bought some things through Amazon, which were international deliveries, and those have gone well. I've purchased some things from the UK, directly from retailers in the UK. Some watch bracelets that have come, or some just other just G-Shock watches that I found the best deal overseas from the UK. Those have come, again, no additional fees for importing those that I've received. I have not so far ordered anything from the retailers in Spain. I don't think I've ordered anything from Hong Kong. I have ordered some things that came from mainland China, some accessories, some modification kits that came through AliExpress. And again, no additional fees. All those transactions seem to go well. So that's my experience. I hope you've had a good experience, and I hope I've given you a few tools if you're considering your first international purchasing experience. I hope I've given you a few tips and tools on how maybe that will go well for you too. I hope it does. I hope you enjoy the stuff that you got. I mean, that's the main thing about it. And the other thing I've seen with some of these sellers, they're really kind. They like put a little thank you card in with the device that you ordered. And maybe they'll say, please go to my eBay seller rating and leave me a positive rating if you've enjoyed this experience. And I really do feel like that's a good responsibility for me to help other people to know, hey, yeah, I had a good experience here. I hope you do too. And so I will make sure I'm diligent about that. When I've had a good experience, I'll put a positive rating on that seller, so that'll help you to or anyone to know that, hey, that went well, so maybe your experience will go well too. All right, I guess that's all I have to say about that. I wish I could guarantee that things will go just as smoothly for you, but I just hope they do. And yeah, you look into it and let me know. I have also looked. There are some watch collector forums out there online, and sometimes you can just, if you're curious about a certain seller that's overseas, maybe it's not through eBay, maybe it's directly from their website somewhere, you can look up and see what other people have to say about buying from that particular seller. Granted, most people won't say anything unless they've had a bad experience. So keep that in mind. Just one bad experience out of many other good experiences is probably not a good indication of what you're up against. But maybe if you start to see a pattern, whenever I mention this particular retail site, tons of people tell me the same bad story of the same circumstances that happened to them. That's something to watch out for. Anyway, I hope you have a great holiday season, whichever persuasion appeals to you and your faith tradition or just family traditions. I'll say Merry Christmas because that's what we're all about here, but Happy Hanukkah and happy everything else to those of you who are celebrating. And it's a buying season, shopping season. So I hope those things go well for you. And we'll all come back here and talk about some more great watches soon, right? We will. And have a nice discussion right here on the Good Timekeeping Show.